Blog Talk Radio.
Archangels, ghosts, and Bigfoot, oh my. It's just another night for Supernatural Girls. Real stories, real answers to life's biggest supernatural mysteries. And now, for another exciting interview with paranormal experts from this world and others. Here's your host, paranormal researcher Patricia Baker, on the one, the only, Supernatural Girls.
Welcome, everyone, to another exciting episode of Supernatural Girls Radio. I'm your host, Patricia Baker. I'm here with PK. Patricia Kirkman, how are you tonight? Roasting away in Tucson, no doubt.
Of course. I feel like I should be put on a spit. Or wish I could. It's so hot, you're too dry. Crazy
oh, my
here.
goodness. It's just too hot out there.
This segment has been the hottest that it's ever been this time of year. We've broken records. I wish I could break a few records, too. Gosh.
Break the record the other direction.
That's for sure.
So we've got a great show tonight, and this was at your request because you said we have got to have Ed and Lihi back on the show. So, of course, I contacted them, and they were gracious enough to join us tonight. We're going to introduce them in a little while. I know our audience is quite familiar with Ed and a little bit with Lihi, but we're going to find out what they've been up to because, as you know, they were on Coast to Coast last week. We're going to talk about that in just a few minutes. That was an amazing experience with George Norrie, which I got to tell you, George was really impressed. So, but first, let me hear what's going on with the numbers. You've got the big hair salon debacle
that's right. It couldn't happen to a nice girl. Now she's saying that they set her up. Excuse me, she wouldn't have been set up if she'd stayed at home like she tells everybody else to do. She's I hate to say it, but she's such a liar. My gosh. God. Besides that, with or without the hairdresser, she looks terrible. She ought to forget it. Put the bag on and let it go.
Oh, you got it. It is just such a nightmare, this whole thing, and brought on by herself. So what did you find with the numbers? It continues to get very intense. What's happening?
Well, the deal is, I hate to say it like this, but the year we've been in has dealt with restrictions, limitations, and it's been very, very difficult. It's a 4-year. It's always difficult when the 4 is around because it's about building a strong foundation. You can't leave a loose end because otherwise it's like a rubber band. It's going to come back and snap you right in the you-know-where. So it's been very, very difficult. So this month is a review of the year as well as the month. So we've got a 4-month and a 4-year, and I'm just sorry to say, folks, ain't going to be anybody happy about this one because it's all about the details, putting things in order. Now, if you pull yourself together and work on the basics and getting things laid out and lined up, it's going to be workable. But if you let it slide and try to take a shortcut, the shortcut's going to be a rope around the neck because you're going to feel like you really can't make anything more. It's going to cost more money because we are, at this time, we are reviewing.
Are you there, PK? I think I just lost you, or maybe you lost me. I'm not sure.
At this time, we're reviewing the entire year in 1 month.
You guys there?
Yes, we're right here.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello. Hi.
Hello.
Ed
hello.
and Lihi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right.
Nope. Okay. All right. I'm
hello?
going to call back in.
Pardon me?
Okay.
Can you hear me all right, Patricia, or not?
Hello. It's muted on
I
your
can hear
end.
you, Ed. Fine.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
This is
Me
PK.
and Lee here, right here.
Okay. Must have been Patricia that got knocked off.
Yeah, we had the energy already turned on pretty good on our end here.
That's what we call. We've ended up with some crispy critters here, huh?
Uh-huh. That's right. We have an effect on phones now.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. That's something.
Yeah, we're having fun with it. We're helping a lot of people, and we're learning how to do a lot of new things together.
Well, I know you've helped me in the
I'm back
past.
on, everybody. I got kicked right off the air, but here I am.
Well, you were a bad girl. That's all.
I guess
Welcome
my
back.
energy
Hello.
just got a little too intense, and here we are.
That's right. You were hot stuff. That's the way it is.
Okay.
You're too hot to
so,
handle.
Yes,
That's
I
right.
am. Now, did you get a chance to finish your numbers explanation of why we all feel so restricted?
Well, I didn't. We chatted to see if we were all still on. But what it boils down to, just a brief recap of the situation, is this month is a review of the entire year. And the 4 year and month make us very fault-finding, very bitchy. I can attest to that. My friends can tell you. I've been a little nitpicky the last 2 days, and we're just into it. But it makes us want to deal with the details of things. If we slow ourselves down, we can build a very, very strong foundation. But the issue is that we're going to see all the little nuances of things that aren't perfect. And we're going to want to try to make it better, but it's going to be more difficult because everybody's got this uptight, angered situation because it's all about the details. What you assume is the correct one, somebody else may not assume as well. So we're going to be bickering back and forth. Fault-finding and bitchy, I guess, is the key phrase for the month as well as for the year. So we're getting a double dipping of it.
So a lot of people being at odds, which we're seeing played out on a larger stage in the cities, but certainly it is people being at odds, so that's a shame. That's not going to make things comfortable throughout this month.
No, and I'm more concerned about all of these marches and things ongoing because there's no holds barred. They're going to jump in and they're not going to think about a control because they're out of control and they're in a month that enhances that negativity.
Yeah, that's really dangerous stuff. So everybody be safe.
Most definitely. So just hang on to your hats, folks. And if somebody's into a nasty mood, walk away. Just walk away.
That's right. Just don't get into it. If you can avoid it, avoid it. That's the way
Sure.
to do it.
So you better behave, Patricia.
I better. Yeah, really. I certainly better. You know, it's
know how it is.
Into. Yeah, out here isolated on the mountain. But also, I just want to say to everybody, we've got some great, great UFO stories posted on our Facebook page. Make sure you go there, take a look. There's even a video interview with an airline captain who encountered a UFO with a full plane of passengers. And he was interviewed by the show Unidentified, and it's fascinating. It's only 6 minutes long, and it's really worth watching. So go to our Facebook page, like us, follow us on Twitter as well, and Instagram. We are there. So this show, I know, PK, you've been waiting for. So
I'm chomping at the bit over here waiting.
I know, because I want everybody to know. PK called me right up and said, "You've got to get Ed back on the show. You've got to get." I said, "All right, here we are." So Ed and Lihi graciously said yes, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about both of them, and then I want to talk about Coast to Coast and what happened on that show because it was quite remarkable. So most of you know Ed, and you know a little bit about Lihi, and as a small child, Ed had the gift, and it was passed on to him by his grandmother. Now, he found ways to play with the energy running through him, often causing mischief in school and at church. And after years of practice, though, I got to tell you, Ed Edwards is a force to be reckoned with. Now, his partner is Lihi Introp. She is a licensed social worker in New York City, and Lihi has the feminine aspect of the same power. So both Ed and Lihi are being studied at labs here in the U.S., and they've consistently shown the ability to generate high levels of biophotons in the millions, way beyond what most people can do. And this affects health, weather, and even random number generators. Now, Ed and Lihi are going to be doing some demonstrations for us tonight, so just stay with us right to the very end of the show. But I also want to share with you something remarkable, actually a number of things that were remarkable, that happened when Ed and Lihi were both in New York City together being interviewed by Coast to Coast, along with John Cruz, who's the head of the Rhine Institute. And John's been studying Ed and now Lihi for some time, 10 years, I believe, at least. And George Noory was, being the great interviewer that he is, he's a wonderful host. And he asked Ed if he could lower the winds of the hurricane that was battering Louisiana and Texas. The winds were being reported at that moment of 150 miles an hour. And Ed said he would try. You know, he's had a lot of success and worked with lightning in the past, but not so much with hurricanes. So after, I think it was less than 10 minutes, George announced to everybody, now the winds were down to 130 miles per hour. So that was extraordinary, just extraordinary. And also, during the demonstration that was done by Ed and Lihi together, there were some interesting responses. One of them was by a police officer. He called in, and he said, I was getting out of my patrol car. It's pointed to an empty field where there's some abandoned building. There's nothing there. And as Ed was finishing up his demonstration, my radar went off and clocked at 193. And he said, this has never, ever happened before. So, quite unusual. And then another gentleman called in, and he said he had numbness and pain and all kinds of problems with one of his feet. The doctors couldn't help him. He'd been going back and forth to doctors for years. And after the 2-minute demonstration, he was able to feel his foot, and the pain was gone. So it was a wonderful call from him. And then a woman called in and said something about having soda nearby, and it exploded. So all of this, I think, and I know that John Cruz would probably agree, is a result of the experience of Ed and Lihi's energy together. So it seems to be getting more and more powerful. And we're so happy to have you guys with us tonight. So Ed and Lihi, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you both. So tell us what's been going on, because you've had some changes in the way that you're working together. You're offering some wonderful groups that people can participate in, and want to make sure everybody knows how to get in touch with you about it. So just pick it up wherever you'd like and tell us what you're doing.
Well, we've learned here since the COVID anyhow, we're doing a lot more of the Zoom webinar rooms where we're doing group energy healing activations. And we've set up right now, and we're going to be setting up a bunch of different kinds of rooms, but for right now, just kind of to start, we've set up 2, kind of from one extreme of the energy to the other. As you know, with me, I've always been the masculine and the science, just the brute force science of it. And doing all these research projects with John Cruz there at the Rhine Center, with Ross Dunseith up at UVA and the Monroe Institute, and then back in the past with Dr. Levingood and Charlie Plyler with the original studies. And then when I meet up with Lihi, and with her being a clinical psychologist and all like that, she works in the consciousness, in the studies of like people with schizophrenia, mental health issues, and all kinds of stuff like that. So I apply the energy with her into her field, and she takes it more into the spiritual field. And up that way.
So what I bring in is the energy of essence, the energy of heart. The feminine, the pure feminine is what I bring in, spiritual. And when I'm here with Ed and he's resonating with me, I am just moving. It's like a beautiful, beautiful expression of energy exchange, because I don't get a chance to do it living here in this reality. So when we are actually resonating and doing that, we're going to such uncharted waters, and we're meeting there, and we just kind of move and move. It doesn't have any form, and as we're doing that, it comes into the field over here, and who's ever a part of that field experiences that on whatever level they could accept it, or be receptive to it or understand it. And it just moves mysteriously. I'm just loving this. The more I do this, the more I discover more about myself as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful.
So,
just one question, Lihi. I was wondering, because you were talking about off the air how the energy that you pull in with Ed, that when you feel somebody's emotional pain, you're able to move it through your own heart. What is that like? How do you do that?
Yeah. So what it is when Ed and I are resonating and I'm experiencing the group, I can almost feel them individually, and I can feel the energy of the group as a whole. And as we're kind of moving as we're doing this with the group, I experience disturbances in the energy, and I feel it in my body. So I'm actually experiencing what the energy frequency is there. And it moves through my body. And as I'm doing it, it just kind of gets processed, and it moves into my heart. And as that it's like what happens inside happens outside. So what I'm experiencing as it moves through my heart, all of a sudden I become so intimate with the group. I feel like total pure love, intimacy. You know what I mean? So it's a process that I kind of experience as the feminine.
Mm-hmm.
And I just take out the soot and ground it on off and send it on out in the ether that comes out of them.
Okay.
Amazing.
Yes. Well,
it's
it
really
was amazing to hear what you guys are accomplishing together on Coast to Coast, because I know a lot of people didn't know, Lihi, that you were right there with Ed throughout those demonstrations. You were doing it as well as Ed, so I want to make sure everybody knows that if you heard that show, then Lihi was very much a part of it in terms of the demonstrations and all. So it was a very powerful experience from what I'm hearing, but I'm sensing what you're saying is true, that as you work together as a team, that you've been able to refine this, so it's even more powerful than it was before.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, it's like we're meeting in the unseen levels, Ed and I. So our levels of awareness is connected from there. It's not here. And we're actually learning how to be here from those energies in order for us to meet here. It usually goes, you meet someone, you go from the physical and the visual and what people do and how, whatever it is that's the commonality on this physical realm. But with Ed and I, it's like we're so intimate on another in the place of union. But here we're getting to know each other. It's like another way of kind of connecting. It's really interesting.
Now, people reported back to you that emotionally they're feeling different after they connect with your energy in one of these groups?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, big time. And in both groups, I mean, in Lihi's and that, they get really de-stressed. They get their emotions get straightened out and everything, and then all kinds of
right.
things.
I mean, it's like I had anxiety. It totally took it away. It really, really. I mean, I'm a true believer that if we were all in touch with all these levels of consciousness with the energies, we wouldn't have mental illness, the way it is. We wouldn't have physical, problems. Mental illness is actually the inability to express yourself wholly and be accepted here in negotiation with this material plane. And then I know I work in a psychiatric.
Right, you work with patients every day. But do you see the same energy being applied to addicts and making a difference with their addictions?
Yes, definitely. I mean, because this energy goes to a place that's eternal. It's eternal. It's infinity. So that an addict cannot heal. First of all, they say you can manage your addiction, but you don't really cure it. That's already a limited belief as far as I'm concerned. When you're accessing these levels of higher energies from source, accessing from that anything. I mean, addiction is really you're wanting more. The reason they want more and more and more and more because they're on a limited plane or level of they're only using basically one level of consciousness, or they're not using their birthright of all the levels of consciousness that is our birthright as human beings. So that being said, they're contained. You know what I mean? It's not a freedom. So they're always going after the next fix, the next fix, the next fix. If you have all these multidimensional aspects of you working at the same time, you're flowing from a place of ebb and flow, from no beginning and no end.
And so,
right.
Yeah. And so she's really getting the people out there. She's getting all these embedded problems in them, just bringing them on out of them there. And like I say, I just take it through the energy and process it out for them.
Well, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's just wonderful.
You know what it is? It's incredible because in a way, I feel like when I'm doing the work with Ed, and there could be a group. It's like I'm the bridge between Ed and the group in a sense, it's like Ed can't even connect. I'm experiencing what Ed cannot connect to these, to these individuals. I'm being the whole of who they are, and Ed is charging me up. So I'm bringing that whatever Ed is bringing on, this new energy here, and I'm as the feminine is holding the universe. You know what I mean? I'm holding the space for the universe. So it was just interesting. That's how I experienced the energies, because his energy is so foreign.
I'm not from here.
Yeah, it isn't, and I happen to kind of tune into it.
Yeah, and then we do like I say, we've got the spiritual room there, and then I've got the kind of keep the science room going, so we keep everything real. Like Dr. Levengood and stuff here is just kind of like the masculine, just hardcore science and stuff. But then I stand the people up in there, and with Lihi powering me up, and you know how I do, and I knock them all over the place and stuff. And then we're setting up. We're kind of moving into like a different levels or different types of. And again, like I say, I don't call it healing, but it would be like a healing room, but it's where people come to get their healing systems activated properly. And we're having a phenomenal effect working with neuropathy and stroke patients over the phone and stuff. So we're working on setting up combined healing rooms where we're working in combination, me and Lihi together, or we're working in separate like I've been doing for all these years. But we're setting it up to do a combination now.
Oh, that's terrific. And I know, also it helps that the science is behind what you guys are doing. So the science is able to back you up and say, yes, we're measuring these biophotons. And with you guys, it's in the millions, right? Because I know it's not in the millions with PK
and we're
the millions
doing
with you guys.
We're with a lady called Judith Pennington, and now Ross is setting it up too. If you look on my web page, we're trying to raise $27,000 to buy a 30-channel dry hookup wireless EEG helmet. And in theory, we want to buy 3 of these things, one for me, one for Lihi, and then one for the target. And so that way we can wire in our heads the data coming out of EEG data to send into Ross at UVA in real time as we do these energy sessions with people to acquire data with.
No, I think that's great because our science has fallen so far behind when it comes to studying things like this. But that's why it's so nice to have people like John and Ross involved who are scientists.
Yeah.
again, give you that backup, that support, so people can't say it's all fluff. It isn't. It's provable.
That's right, because now I'm working with doctors, with MDs, with neuropathy, and so each time I work with them, they're giving a detailed report into the IRB at UVA. So now I'm working with a lady that runs and works with the IRB, and they're looking at these studies for us to go into where they're allowing me to, through the testimonials with the neuropathy, are allowing me to set the directions of the studies, what we're finding works the strongest. And instead of putting me in a box and saying we're going to study this and this to see if you can do this and this, they're letting me design the studies, because we're having phenomenal effect in people with neuropathy.
Well, that's tremendous. Again, the science has lagged so long, and it's great that now it's finally catching up to what you're able to do and offer other people. Now, I know, Ed, you've had a UFO experience, and I'd love for you to share that. And I also want to know, Lihi, if you had one as well. So, Ed, let's start with you. Tell us about this very innocent thing that happened to you when you were a kid.
Well, I didn't know it was a UFO experience when it happened. It's more like after I realized what really took place in it and stuff. It was just kind of mind-boggling when it happened. But there was this little restaurant, a little small cafe restaurant, handle about 10 seats in it or so, and it was run by a family that owned the property, and then next door, the brother of the sister that had the restaurant had a small car lot. And so over in the car lot, just old used cars and stuff, and my mom and dad were friends with these people, and so we always kind of once or twice a week would go up there and eat at the place. And, it was sitting right on the Continental Divide. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but the energy that was in that area is just unique anyhow. And we got finished kind of eating and stuff, and my brother was a little too young to go outside and play, and I wanted to go outside and just kind of play around because, didn't have to really worry about nothing way back then. And we was in the small parking lot there of the restaurant, and I seen this orange glow just kind of pulsating over there in the back of the used car lot, and it was interesting, so I just wandered over there, and I turned the corner, and it wasn't a fire. It was a funny-looking car glowing. And then I just turned around, and here were these 4 kids that they kind of reminded me of my buddy Billy Redden that plays the dueling banjos in the movie Deliverance there. And because I was in preschool with him, and he looked really strange in preschool and stuff. So I thought these kids were just these aliens or whatever were just some of Billy's cousins or something. We had, several kids that looked kind of like that around my neighborhood in the woods way back yonder. But so I stood there and I started feeling things and hearing things in my head, but they weren't moving their mouths, but it was very, very resonating with me. And then they started doing their hands like I do my hands now with the compression of the energy waves out in front of it. And they were doing that to me, and I could feel it, and I recognized it because my grandma was doing roughly the same thing with me, when I was just 1, 2, 3, 4 years old and stuff. And she would do the energy, but then these kids were doing it, and I could feel it really strong from them. It's like I was hearing all kind of things in my head, and I just had a really good feeling about it and everything. And then I heard my mom and them holler for me to come on, and I just kind of looked up at them, and we just knew it was time to go. And it's just like said our goodbyes, and I turned and I went, and these 4 kids got back in that funny glowing car or so, and I went on down and got in our car, and as we drove out, all of a sudden, this big orange flash came up from behind us and took out way out past us and shot off. My dad said it was a meteor and stuff, and but it came up. We went straight up in the air. I watched it. I was in the back of our station wagon that we were driving, and I watched the thing come up out of that car lot. It just rose straight up in the air. When it took off, it went across the top of our car, a couple 100 feet up, and we watched it go right out into the sky. And that was I wish I didn't know what it was. I was a 6-year-old kid in the country had never seen anything stronger than Gomer Pyle or Andy Griffith.
Now, did your grandmother ever talk about encounters like that? Did she ever mention that she had met space people?
No, she never mentioned it. But once I started digging into where the energy kind of roots from the Kituwa Nation through the Cherokee Nation, which was one of the towns of Kituwas in my county, and they got there in 400 AD and kind of mixed with the Iroquois and formed the Cherokee Nation. But there's writings in their ancestry of that stuff that shows that these people, the Kituwas, came from like Atlantis, this island off in the South Atlantic. But they left it for other reasons than what we hear about Atlantis and stuff. But you can find these writings in the 1800s, writings in the Cherokee translations and
do
stuff.
you
and
feel
they
an
talk about
affinity with? Do you feel close to Atlantis? Do you feel that you had some connection?
Yes, there's something about it. And I think that's how me and Lihi was, because they talk about in this ancient Indian society that this clan of Indians that come from that island was a bigger clan, and they split up and went 7 directions. Some of them went to Israel and Egypt, and that's where Lihi's from. And my clan came to the Smoky Mountains, and then another clan went to Mongolia, and another clan up there in Europe, and so we went off in about 7 directions and spreading their knowledges and wisdoms.
Mm-hmm.
And that was in around 400 AD.
Yeah.
And that's just an amazing heritage that you both have. So, because you know how they usually say that UFO encounters, alien encounters are intergenerational. So, Lihi, what about you? Have you ever had an encounter?
My encounters would be in my dreams ever since a young age. And I would experience these dreams as if they were more real than the other dreams. And I remember there was one dream. I mean, I can give it the word spaceship now, but there was just some life form that was coming into land that was there, and they were walking around. They looked different. But what they were doing with the people is you saw, like, are you coming with us? But there were people, I can call it, some were awakened and some were not, It's like some didn't have it. And I wouldn't, this is when I was probably about, I don't even know, 12 years old. And so then it was so vivid, and I still feel it's so vivid. And I remember like seeing, and there was like chaos that was going on. And I remember as they're coming, they're like looking. I'm like trying to like hide. I don't know what to do, And as I open up one door, I see people with no mouths, and I knew not to have any emotional reaction. Like it was just like a telepathy kind of thing, And so at one point they said to me, I closed the door right away, like there was no. It's almost, I can give it now, like say, like there was no energy. I didn't put any energy in the field there because they would recognize it right away, and I had an awareness of that, and it was such a science fiction dream that I would not concoct from being, I don't even watch those kind of, especially at that point. So I've had numerous repetitive dreams with UFOs. Also, I remember seeing a spaceship and these aliens. They were coming, but they were running after me. But I never really felt like I actually met them.
So you were aware of the presence.
And I would also experience in my growing up. I would feel, I would get somewhat scared at times, a spaceship around the house circling. And I remember seeing in the window something, and I would just like, no. And I would force myself to go to sleep, So there was those kind of things.
That was me.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find you.
Yeah,
I've been
exactly.
searching for a long time there.
He said he felt my energy at the age of 7. Yeah.
Lihi, did this also happen with your parents, grandparents? Did they ever speak to you about having those types of encounters?
No, but if they did, they wouldn't speak about it regardless.
Okay, they would have kept it to themselves. Okay.
I can tell you this much: my brother has a lot of encounters, and he's so resistant to all this. And he has they just want to meddle with him. You know what I mean? And it's he's had really and he just doesn't want to go into that reality. But there's something really there. And also, actually, my mom would tell me also certain things, and she's also very closed-minded. So I think there is something that's going on here,
It would make sense because, that has been well documented about the intergenerational experiences. And you're right. A lot of people, especially back then, didn't feel comfortable bringing it up because it was highly ridiculed. And so there was no upside to sharing those pieces of information, that's for sure. So how about, do you guys feel up to doing a demonstration?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll start with that. So if you want to talk us through what we should do while we're listening to this.
Get everybody in your audience to stand up, those that can.
Okay, everybody that can stand up, stand up.
Okay.
Okay, now me and Lihi here are going to start resonating back and forth between us.
Okay, so we'll just do some deep breathing while you guys are resonating and getting that energy ready to send over. So everybody take some nice deep breaths in and out.
Take it in, and here we go. Now, me and her resonate between us, so now, as y'all are standing, we're going to set up these gravity waves. So here we go. I'm going to not tell you which way right now. I'm going to let it just start doing with you. You just watch out how you start wobbling and also what you feel in your fingertips. So you just fill in the gaps there, Patricia.
All right. I certainly will. I'm already feeling it right up my spine and into the back of my head.
Right. Definitely getting the pull.
Where are you feeling it, PK?
It's making me feel like I want to keep moving forward, like I'm swaying back and forth.
Yeah. That's what it's supposed to do. That's the gravity waves that I'm talking about. I call them electrical gravity waves because when I change the polarity of the electricity, it changes the direction of the force. So here, if I control it, me and Lihi are going to create a DC negative, or like the Chinese would call it, yin. So here's yin or DC negative. And that should be pulling y'all forwards.
That it is.
Yes, it is.
Okay, now I'm going to reverse the polarity of the electricity that me and Lihi are producing together, and I'm going to push.
Doesn't take much. Start going backwards.
I was here working with me. It's just almost instantaneous there. So there's the push.
You can definitely feel that.
Okay. And see, when we push like that, it makes your body warm up, and it causes the blood vessels and all that to dilate and everything, and so you get a better blood circulation and all and stuff. So now we're going to take the energy a little different here. Have your feet fairly close together.
Okay.
But not touching, just stand. Okay, we're going to pull you to your right.
Right away.
Right away.
Yeah, see, by using the masculine and the feminine energies here instantaneously with everybody. Now we're going to let it zero out. Now we're going to pull you to your left.
Yes, you can feel that.
Certainly can.
And so people with vertigo and stuff like that, balancing problems, just a few times back and forth like that will clear it up. And then when we wobble people around like we're doing right now, this is just getting your energy fields in resonance with ours. And so the whole idea is we want to get all of you pulsating with us at 1.618 hertz. That's where we resonate most perfectly at. And so we get everybody on that level. Now, everybody sit down. And we'll create an electrical flow right here that will have a increase in energy throughout everyone's nervous system, so that everyone will be more aware kind of feeling here for a few minutes.
Right, and what I see it as, it's going to be moving in this one field. So we're actually one large body.
Yeah, we're in one big swimming pool here of electrical plasma energy. And so we're just going to electrify everyone's bodies.
That is very powerful.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
It's this kind of energy like this, when we work on neuropathy, stroke, things like that we're getting huge effects on. And so we're working real hard at creating a specialty rooms that we do just this stuff right here, and it's having a powerful effect on people.
Because right now I am experiencing the whole. It's almost like I'm the glue here. You know what I mean? It's like we're all here, and then we kind of just go into that oneness. I mean, it's a place of just being one, and yet we're individual. So the circuitry that's being, the electrical charge is actually connecting us all, and I'm feeling it also on a level of emotion, the pain body. And what I'm experiencing is so powerful, and it's like, and it shifts in moments. The healing, whatever you want to call it, it changed. You're renewed. You know what I mean? And that's how I see things in the future. It's not going to be through talking. It's just going to be through meeting. The meeting is the healing, the true meeting of intimacy.
And when you're both doing this, is it in waves? Is it in oscillating waves? Okay.
Correct. It's kind of like if you was laying at the edge of the ocean and the water would come up and then out, up and out. And it's about that time framing. It's about 1 or 2 seconds up in, and then 1 or 2 seconds the other direction. You know, we can stretch it out 3 or 4, slow it down, so it just kind of slowly passes like a wave through you. And that does the most good for people because it cleanses out a person's electrical system. Everything that's toxic and a problem in people's bodies, it can be converted to electricity and caused to flow. And that's what we're learning to really do right here.
And it seems that your electrical fields are quite powerful. I mean, clearly you're able to tap into hurricane winds, lightning, random number generators. I mean, your electrical field is pretty charged.
Yeah, it's very intense.
It's so intense because it's so pure. It's precise. You know, it's like, it's 2 grains of sand meeting.
Yes, and it sure is. So like I say, and then it's like we're the full potential of the true battery electric field. It's like I'm the negative post, he's the positive post, and we complete the circuit within us. So as long as me and her are resonating like we are like the base core of the battery and stuff. And then we, through my times and trials and our workings together with the scientists and universities, we learned how to pulsate that and transmit that energy in such a unique way that we can cause all kind of electrical phenomena to take place in peoples that are aware of us, no matter where they're at in time, distance, or space. So even in the recorded shows, you'll get the same effect right here as we're producing right now.
Yeah, I mean, this energy is an awakening energy. It awakens our consciousness. So it's really evolutionary.
It really is quite powerful, and I am noticing a difference this time with your participation, Lihi. There is a difference that I can feel. And how about you, PK? Do you feel that also?
Most definitely. It's a very strange feeling because, as you know, I've been recuperating from a fractured pelvis. And I'm back at my feet, and all of this, I'm feeling areas in my legs and such that have been kind of dormant since this others started, and it really feels strange to feel that today.
Hey, we'll go ahead and just turn some extra juice on in there, and everybody in the audience is going to get electric legs here.
All right.
Hey, go for it.
Yeah, that's my country pure masculine effect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's why me and Lihi are such a great, unique pair here. That as we become more and more in resonance here, it's just going to get more and more powerful.
Yeah, totally. It's like I work, like I said, I work on the emotional level. So I'm actually I kind of am the conduit or the cat that moves. I feel those emotions, whether it's anger, whether it's guilt, whether it's shame, whether it's anxiety. I feel those energies, and they're dense energies, and these energies are needing to be freed. You know, they want to be freed. You know, and the only way to free it is through the energy of the heart. And with Ed and I together, with him doing more of the physical and so that you could have a body that's fit enough to handle all this energy, quite frankly, you know what I mean? It's so vast. It's so vast what we're connecting, what Ed and I plugged into each other with, and it's the universe. It's really meeting in the void, and now coming here in the universe as universal beings, you know, even though we appear as man and woman. So it's always a learning process for me, so as well, and a discovery for me. So I'm always privileged to even be doing the energy work with other people that come into play, because it's like such a meeting that we would never have met, you know what I mean? And we're meeting here even though we don't know each other from our families or what we do, or all that physical, aspect.
Right. It's just the everyday reality, and then, but it seems to me that you guys are working with a very large, powerful informational field. So as you apply this, and as you mentioned, Ed, you guys don't heal anything. You basically allow the people you're working with to feel what you feel, and then they do what they will with the energy. But with Lihi's additional feminine side, the softer energy, this energy of receiving, it does add a tremendously powerful dimension to what you're both doing together. It's really different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she's really balanced out my energy, and y'all felt me many times in years past where I just come in there and just blow your socks off real quick, and now she can keep them on and keep it a little more mellow.
I would say to him, he takes them on, it's like going to, an amusement park, and he takes them for a ride. But I go, Ed, are they going to keep coming back? So in a way, me coming into play, it's like, yeah, you're getting electrically charged, so you can operate in your most optimal level to receive the awareness and the ability to know what it is to be human as a pure being. So that's our connection,
And and also, one of the things that I noticed this time with you guys applying the powerful energy to us and our audience is that certain things pop up into your mind. And this is a good thing, I think, for the audience to know, that if they don't already, because they're a smart audience, but when these thoughts pop up or these memories come up, they may be the things that need to be cleared. So there's a reason that they appear when they do, when you're being touched by this kind of energy. So it's important to pay attention to that.
It's like they're appearing to say goodbye in a way. A lot of times when whatever appears or whatever comes through, that's like, whoa, it comes through stronger in some ways. Therefore, it's vivid at that point, let's just say. And it's coming there to kind of totally be moved through, not be suppressed anymore. And that's
exactly.
That's where the allowance and the receptivity
right, because let's face it, so many of our beliefs are misunderstandings, and we're living by those as if they're real. So what your energy is also now providing is not only the physical sensations of the currents reconnecting, but also an awareness of any of these thoughts that are truly misunderstandings that are in our way. So this is a great gift you're giving everybody.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
You can. It's amazing how you can feel the difference. I can still feel the tingling in my legs from the.
I ain't turned it off. We still got it coming.
It's humming.
Oh, hey, I like
Yes.
It's humming.
Yeah, when we do our sessions and everything, once we get you connected in, even though we may just go back to talking and stuff, you're still getting charged up as long as you got us on the line.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
but you know what
really
I want to see? Go ahead.
Go ahead. You can go.
What I see is that we're us doing like really, really specific energy rooms, you can call it that, where it's like I'm becoming so familiar with energy. It's like you get a group of people that I know energetically. I could feel what their experience is, emotional. You know what I mean? And
yes.
So Ed and I come into play, like an anxiety room. So Ed and I come into play, and we kind of resonate into that particular, because there's so many different little, it could be so fine-tuned, this energy. And that's what I see, I would love to see, because the healing, I know Ed doesn't like to call it healing, but it's a healing happens just by that meeting and with all those individuals. It's never a coincidence, the people that come together,
That's for sure, and especially with
all
you two.
pre-planned, whether we like it or not, for sure.
Yeah, it's just amazing. Now, I don't know if you're aware of the work of Dr. Jerry Tennant, who is a medical doctor, but he works with people increasing their electrical field, because his opinion is that a lot of, if not all, disease is caused by low voltage in the body. And this is how also emotions get stuck, and as well as disease. And he's a trained medical doctor, so he's invented these devices that you can buy and use that actually introduce more voltage into the body. And they're quite intense and powerful, and he knows what he's doing because he is a scientist and a medical doctor, and he became quite ill because he was an ophthalmology surgeon, so he had been operating on somebody's eye, and at that time they didn't have enough protection, and he was contaminated by something in the man's eye, and he got a brain-wasting disease. And nobody could help him. So he figured out the low voltage aspect of all of this and brought himself back to the peak of health. So you may want to look into his work. It's quite fascinating. It's Dr. Jerry Tennant, Tennant. He does have a practice in Texas, but he's online. Anybody can look him up and look at his work. It is really worth reviewing.
We proved at the Monroe Institute that my electrical voltage goes up over 70 volts DC. Lihi's goes up over 50 volts DC. And so we've already started experiments research where we put people between us, and we'll take them, those that are sick, and they'll be a negative volt DC. Ross Dunsey's doing the experiments with us there. And so they'll be like at a negative volt there. And so we put them between us, and within 5 minutes, me and Lihi on each side of them, we raise their voltages up to 20 volts or better DC in their bodies, and their healing systems are just running like crazy. And they get healed, like they heal themselves in minutes,
And what's the normal voltage that a person has?
Normal voltage is about 0.3 volts. If they're healthy.
Incredible.
But when people are not healthy, they run a negative DC voltage.
That's exactly what Dr. Tennant found. The same thing that you just said.
UVA is backing us up. That's going to be one of our studies there at the University of Virginia, and the medical department will release the published report on us.
That's such important information because, we've been kind of brainwashed to think the only way we can attack disease is the big pharma, or surgery, and that's far from the truth. So all of this coming out is important.
It's all electrical. You attack it electrical, you get instant results. That's why, like I'm working with neuropathy in people's feet, and in a lot of them, I make it totally clear up in less than 5 minutes.
Oh my goodness, that's fabulous.
permanent, and it stays cleared up. And then there's others it clears up that I have to keep working with, those by the phone, and I'm working with them about once a week, and it clears them up for about a week, brings them back to normal, and the people are getting further and further between the phone calls. They're lasting longer and longer in them.
That's
and so we're doing a whole
really
study on nervous system reconnection, local and non-local. That's why we need those 30-channel EEG helmets that we can just throw on and hook up to our cell phones, and then it feeds the data back to Ross at the lab at UVA, no matter where we're at.
Now, Ed and Lihi, how do people get in touch with you to either donate to your project or to sign up for your healing experiences?
Okay, we got two websites. The one that we do all our joint stuff with and everything is lihianded.com. So let me read it off the way it is. It's lihi-and-edd.com. So go there, and there's a big old newsletter form. Join that and everything, and watch the events section. I just posted another event that's posted on that page there, and it's on the events page, or anything that says events is where we're doing stuff. And as we do them, I post them up there. And if you see the little push notifications thing, join that. Allow push notifications and stuff. And so then the next event I'll be lining it up later tonight will be for like Saturday or Tuesday. I mean, we try to do 3 days a week with events here and stuff. And so that's all on that site and all. And so we're doing all the events, and we're lining up. We're right now still building different aspects of the website. So we're setting up the joint healing where me and Lihi work together on people privately. We're trying to get that web page set up kind of tonight and tomorrow. And we're just setting up just all kinds of different things like that.
Well, this is so exciting. And again, people just are texting me saying, how do we sign up for this? Because it feels so good to be sitting in this energy. How do you feel, PK?
Yeah.
Well, I can't get over enough how well anything Ed has ever done has worked. And now we have two great people working together. Fabulous for the rest of us.
Yes.
It's so beautiful.
So we're trying now to do all our joint work, all our work together as much as possible, where we're doing the energy in the healing rooms
the next group is Friday.
And stuff. And then our next group is Friday at 6.
You made a mistake.
Oh, okay. Friday at 6 p.m. is our next group thing there. It's the science side. Like I say, we do the science side, which I kind of keep on scientific levels, and then Lihi handles and runs the spiritual side.
It's time to merge.
And so we're merging it. Trying to come up with a commonality and stuff. And so we're doing all that through this website. And then, of course, I've still got the old website that y'all have had all these years. And so,
it's so funny that you all know Ed before I knew Ed. It's like a funny phenomenon in some ways,
Yeah.
It's like, here, for me, I come in here, I'm having this radio interview with Ed, and how dare you? You know him longer than I do.
We're older souls, that's all.
Yeah, well, we have to thank George Lugo for meeting Ed, because George is a very, very excellent psychic medium who was attending a psychic fair one day when he felt something moving him, and he looked across the room, and there was Ed Edwards. So it was George who called us and said, hey, this guy is the real deal. You have to have him on your show. And so we did, because we trust George and his opinion, and George was very impressed by Ed. And so that's how that all happened. So thank you, George. That was a wonderful gift.
Yeah. Thank you, George.
As long as I've known George, that was the best thing he's ever done for us.
Yeah, we've all done good after what George done for us here.
That's right.
We can all thank him for that. But it's this is really just so exciting that you're pulling all of this together. Now, let me ask you too, because I know, Ed, you were on Ancient Aliens, and it was called, the segment that you were on was called "The Man with the Alien Brain." And I want to suggest to everybody that they go watch that. It was very interesting. And I'm sure you filmed a lot more than we saw, but that was a great segment about you.
They filmed several other episodes, or not episodes. We filmed several different scenes that they did not use in there. I expect they're using it in a creation of another layer of it.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So, everybody check that one out because it was worth seeing.
They didn't cut no expenses. When they came to film that thing, they brought some money with them, some high-dollar cameras. I mean,
that's the way to go, honey.
They brought the big boys with them.
Settle for nothing less.
That was great.
Yeah,
that was really, really great. Very, very well filmed, very well done, I thought. And so it was good to watch. And everybody, you can watch it, too, on Ancient Aliens. Just look for the segment, The Man with the Alien Brain. They are talking about Ed Edwards.
Called The Alien Brain is the name of it. The Alien Brain.
The Alien Brain, yes.
Season 14,
that's right.
Episode 16.
All right. You got it. Now everybody knows exactly which one to look for.
He knows exactly. I'm like, my goodness.
That's
great.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Now, when are you guys going back to the Monroe Institute for more study? Are you going back to their copper room?
Everything's shut down. Everything is shut down, and then a bolt of lightning hit the copper room 2 weeks ago and burned everything out up there.
Oh, you're kidding. That's terrible.
They're working on filing insurance claims right now. I mean, a huge bolt of lightning hit it.
Oh, wow.
I told Ross when we was wiring it in, you better have a knife switch on the grounding system, and us on top of a mountain like that.
That's right.
We're going to put knife switches in so that he can disconnect it from ground when it's out there. That lightning hit just outside of the lab and went in through our grounding system backwards through all the equipment.
Oh my goodness.
What a mess.
And so it'll be a little while. He'll get it back going, but Ross is talking about letting us look around for another location or two around the country to do a big research on. So we're kind of scouting out some places.
Oh, that's good. That's
excellent. Bring in all the
here.
Yeah. He'll bring in all the equipment and all. He's kind of talking like the most advanced energy medicine research center on the planet if we can kind of find something right.
Well, we need to know this, and I've said this many times on the show and also on other shows when I've been interviewed, that we have to catch up. We are really needing to understand all of this, and the research is a big, big help.
Yes, it is, and then he's publishing papers, and that's going to be in the UVA medical journals.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. Be sure to let us know so that when that gets published, we'll announce it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Then Ross, they wanted Ross on with George Norrie there, and I got in touch with him, but he said until he publishes this work, he can't go on any radio show like that. You know. Now, with John, he's already published studies that we've done, so that's even made it okay for him to be on there.
Exactly.
And you know what the most beautiful thing is once you see that there's actual science behind it and research behind it, it actually opens up people's belief systems. So what you believe actually comes into play. So it's so important because I think once people have that kind of information, they're going to function just by knowing that. It's going to be more of a knowing. It's going to be more of an acceptability.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it is.
It's hand in hand.
Yeah, I think it's so necessary because a lot of people have lost faith in the traditional medical system, and certainly doctors, some of them have lost faith in it because they're being mandated to do what is traditional treatment, even though they know it doesn't work. They can lose their life if they don't do what they're told. So
I never did develop faith in them in the first place, so I ain't been to one in 50 years.
No wonder you're in such good health. You stay away from those people.
Yeah, Grandma and Grandpa said if you want to live a long, healthy life, stay away from doctors and hospitals.
That's what my father says.
And so I haven't since I was 16 years old, I doubt if I've spent more than $300 on anything stronger than penicillin from one time. That's about it.
Fantastic.
Fabulous.
Yeah, that is really great. Well, I would imagine that with you two running this high level of electrical and electromagnetic energy, you're basically in good health, both of you.
And I'm working on getting Lihi an even better resonance with me here and everything, and we'll even slow the aging processes down once we achieve that level.
It's
I
like
think you've already done that because Ed, you look a lot younger than your years.
Yeah,
that's for
I
sure.
know,
He
I saw him
certainly
today.
does.
He looks younger.
Yeah, I'm getting younger and younger because I'm running so much energy. Is what Ross is thinking. Because I do 10 or 12 energy sessions a day on average on people.
Oh my
Private
goodness.
Sessions and stuff. I'm lighting them up. Even when I'm driving 70 miles an hour down the interstate, I'll do 3 or 4 or 5 energy sessions and light them up. And if there's semi-trucks out in front of me, when I stand them up, make them lean to the left or lean to the right, the semis will all go to the right or all to the left.
Oh, that's great. Now, what about lightning?
So
Because you did mention that, Ed, on Coast to Coast, that you've had some work that you've done with lightning. Tell us about that.
Well, ever since a little kid, I was always fascinated by lightning. It seemed like I could draw it in to make it hit stuff fairly near me. And then at about 14, 15 years of age, I'd start predicting where it was going to hit out a couple hundred yards away, and it would happen in a few minutes normally. And so I got a video interview of my brother shot with my neighbor. It's on my YouTube site, and it's called Controlling the Forces of Nature. It's about the first video I put on there, or it's just after the one where Dr. Levengood had learned about me and studied me. But he's describing how I demonstrated a bolt of lightning for him. And then I just did that for several people.
And maybe it's not a coincidence that the Monroe Institute got hit by lightning.
It's not. It's not. They shouldn't have said we couldn't teach there.
Now they're going to blame Ed.
Yeah,
there goes the insurance, Ed.
Yeah.
Yeah, see that?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Well, lightning's a very powerful force, so I guess we're lucky, Ed, that we're your friends.
We'll keep it that way.
Yeah, I did a demonstration for a moonshine bootlegger because I didn't want him messing with me because I did the energy stuff and I lived next door to him. And after I did that, he's just as nice as he could be.
Now, you also have been having some success, and quite a lot of success, actually, with treating animals, too, right?
Yeah. Well, they've got a ledger system as long as their master's right there. And I kind of just like work through the master. And then now with Lihi joining forces with me, we just resonate a field of energy that brings all animal, plant, everything in just so perfect harmony. You know?
Yeah, well, that's really needed, I think, because the animals have a lot of issues sometimes. They can't really tell us in the way that we can hear what's going on. So being able to channel that energy over to them is another wonderful thing. And everybody who I know, and PK knows, we all love our animals, and it's very important to us that they're comfortable and healthy. So it's great that you can also offer sessions with them and include them in the groups, I would guess. You can do that too, right? People can have their animals sitting right next to them.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm working on people, they'll go, wow, my cat just jumped in my lap. My dog just came up under my feet.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. It's so great that you're able to offer that. Now,
then
go ahead.
I work with horses, too. I can calm them down. I got hooked in with some down there in Jupiter, Florida, down in those areas where they have them for show horses. And they had me around there just calming the horses out like crazy.
That's wonderful. We had Jerry Sargent.
Horses are very sensitive.
And he did say that horses have extremely deep feelings. So I would imagine that, having Lihi there with you makes a big difference.
I have a short video of a horse just yawning big time when I started flying the energy to it.
So
I thought it was going to fall over.
Tell us about what happened.
The horse trainer knew about me and had me come by to see if I could calm the thing down. I just laid my hands on the side there, and all of a sudden it just turned around, and they were filming that thing, just let out a big old yawn, and just nearly fell over. It just relaxed it so good.
It was exhausted.
Yeah. That horse
I would
didn't know
imagine,
what was going on.
Really, that you could have the same effect with wild animals. Have you had any experience, both of you, with wild animals, with this energy?
I was up in Maine 3 weeks ago and hanging out up there, and I had foxes walking between my feet, and I wish I'd have had my camera. I couldn't reach it because I looked down and there was a skunk going around my feet a couple of times.
Wow.
I guess that would do it.
Thing by a house
saw.
in Portland, Maine,
Mm-hmm.
in town. I got pictures of it, but I didn't want to jump over and get my phone with the skunk there because I'd already smelled him out in the woods a little. But he was friendly there, just like I was there. It's just the energy was drawing them in. They felt totally at peace with me. And I mean, I had 6 or 7 foxes.
Well, you were out there in the tent. They thought that you were one of them.
Yeah, I was one of them.
Right, more than the other people.
Yeah. Yeah, we resonated.
He wasn't resonating with the rest of the house. He had to go outside and resonate.
Yeah, they put me in the tent. I was quarantined out in the tent.
And that's when I noticed a change in Ed. Ed was so much calmer then. You know what I mean? Because he was more in his element.
Oh, exactly.
That's it. I run me an extension cord out there and a Wi-Fi cable, and I was set. I had all my computers and a little umbrella and a big tent.
And they were like, wow, what's going on here? You know?
Yeah.
We never seen this.
I mean, them foxes, they walked right up between my legs. They were just so at home with me, you know?
And when he calls me up and he tells me, oh, my God, Lee, there's 3 foxes here. I go, when have you started talking about hot foxes and girls? I thought he was talking about women.
Oh, that's funny.
Like him because there's some. I'm thinking foxes. Why would there be foxes there? So I thought foxes.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thought I was lighting them up, huh?
Well, it sounded like it.
Now, tell us about the random number generators, because you're also able to affect those. What happens?
Yeah, I first learned about them back in 2012, and I was doing some stuff with Dr. Steve Bowman, which was there at the Ryan Center before John, and he had temporarily, just right at the end of the Pear Labs research at Princeton. And so Dr. John hooked me up there to give me access to their basket server, and they had 43 different random number generators hooked up at different universities around the planet. So they would feed the data back into the basket server at Pear Lab. And I would sit there in my home and where I was at back from 2012 up to about 2018, playing with the energies, and I could rattle them things like crazy. And then I told John and them about it. He said, well, we got a random number generator that come from them that was built by them there, Celeron. And so they had it, and sure enough, I was just taking that thing. I'd go out of 30 tries, I could take it over 2 standard deviations out of the controls over 13 or 14 times out of 30. So about every 2 times, 2 to 1 time. And so I could just make the things just start spitting out non-random events like crazy and stuff.
Now,
and then
in the way that you're working with the energy, as again you've come to refine it, things are more powerful with both of you. Is there anything you've done that surprised you?
Just finally meeting up with Lihi here. I finally found somebody I could work with.
Yeah, he tells me, he tells me he's never in all his life he's been looking for me. And and when he says that, it's not me as Lihi. He's been looking for this energy.
Yeah, I've been looking for the energy.
It just happens to come in a nice package.
That's even better.
That's the best.
Yeah.
That's the best.
No.
My goodness.
No, but seriously, the first time we met, he was just following the energy, So it was wonderful. And then the moment that we looked at each other's eyes, I just knew I knew we were gonna connect. You know what I mean? It was not even a question. But it wasn't meaning. I told you, I wasn't seeing Ed, and he wasn't. Maybe you were. So I could speak for myself. I wasn't seeing Ed.
I was just looking at energy.
And everything else here was so dense. That's why everything felt like chatter. Everything was like everybody playing the old little recycled energy games. And we were just, but without judgment, it just felt like another place, another space, and we were just meeting like at the, really at the tip of the, I don't know if you call it the pyramid.
So Lihi, do you also feel an affinity for Atlantis like Ed does?
I do. I really do. I have the same affinity as Ed does. There's something there. I don't know, but when I met Ed, that's what we revealed. So it really resonates as truth, to me.
Mhm. Yeah, it just flows right in with it. I feel like me and her were on Atlantis when we had to split up back around 400 AD, and she left with the Egyptian Israel tribe, and I went to the Smoky Mountains and got up in there.
Yeah, I'm very connected to Egypt. It's
mm-hmm.
And I could see in my history, I could see how everything led me to come to this place because it's that calling.
Mhm.
And
now,
yeah.
But let me ask you, because being in New York City, I mean, I'm a country girl. I can't imagine living in a city. And I know, Ed, you're used to the country, but you seem just as comfortable in New York. But there's so much energy in New York that is disjointed and radicalized.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how do you deal with that?
I light it up. If they come around me, I light them up.
Yeah, he does it that way. But for me, I just there is a lot of energy, but I don't know. I just process it all. The energy that I would have difficulty with in if you want to call it the past, that would be an energy that's kind of pulling on you, and yet there's no exchange. You want to offer, you want to give, you want to and then later and they open themselves and they close, and they open and they close. So it used to really rattle me. Now I that's just, to me right now, it's a polarity that's going on, you know what I mean, and it's on a lower level. So I just stay constant, and eventually, if anyone's ready to receive, it just moves. So when I'm like feeling all the energy, and I could be in any energy. I could be in stale energy. I could be in distorted energy. I could be in fast moving energy. Any energy. It's like let me paint. Let me be this energy artist. That's how I feel everything here. And so to me, it's always a play of energy, no matter where you are. You know what I mean? So meeting Ed, he brings the vastness for me to play in my fullest expression of who I am. And
oh, fabulous!
Yeah, I just opened her up. I showed her what she could be, and now she's running with it.
And with no judgments, with no any of those things that come on this linear level, on the third dimension. I mean, I just want to say there are times that we have a little bit of an emotional thing, but it clears up in a moment. That's because we know we're more than that. You know what I mean? And it's healing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
so,
you have a purpose that you've identified. I think a lot of people don't have that, and it makes them really upset on many levels. But having that purpose of what you're doing with the energy and sharing it with us and the world, it's a very powerful thing. Are you guys still generating the field? Because I'm still feeling it.
Yeah, you ought to be smoking by now.
Yeah, because now I'm like, I feel like I'm in Tucson. It's very warm here now.
But you have to understand that this energy, just now I'm finding like, wow, I have an outlet. All my life I've been contained with all this energy. I didn't know how to handle it. You know what I mean? And I try to be as normal as I could be. I always joke around and say that, I would be in I would be in a mental hospital, but instead I chose to work in one. You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing. It's really so now I have I've done a lot of groundwork as far as emotional work, and clearing all that stuff. So that's kind of clear. So I can kind of go now to a place. It's like I'm in a new place, and meeting Ed, it's like I could meet individuals here, and he brings in the what are you bringing in?
Yeah, well, I'm just bringing this pure masculine in, and I've got the research, and I got all these scientists to back us up, and brought Lihi into the research. I drug her in there, and I hooked her up there, and had the scientists wire her up and everything.
When I first went there, I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm going for a test. Like, am I going to pass?
Right.
You know, I was like, Ed, you're thinking too much. You know?
I validated what I felt.
You know,
if I'd have took anybody else in that didn't feel it, we wouldn't have got nothing. So when I went in there and hooked them up, and we hooked her up, I got a video of Lihi.
So I was saying to you, this is what I was saying. Back to my point is that this energy, has always been controlled and contained, but it never died. What the truth of what I am and what I know and the light that I am, somewhere inside of me that always stayed, no matter how much. And I even remember being a little girl, almost like feeling, what is all this? What am I doing here? You have to get up, you have to go to work, but I feared death a little bit. I remember I questioned death at the age of 2, 3, So I came here or I would leave, I remember at the age of 6 or 7, I would leave the classroom and I would say, I wonder if that classroom is still there, even though I'm not. So I was already flirting with other levels,
Sure.
of reality. So now, it's like you said, it's unbelievable. I feel so blessed that I could now move with this energy, develop it, and bring everybody into that space and that place of evolution and love. I mean, I see everything as love, but not love in a conceptual way, It's just it's the reason we're all here, So,
well, yeah,
I get very excited.
It's a very large energy field that you're working with, and you brought up another point, Lihi, that I want to address to Ed, because I've seen some really interesting psychic mediums that can manifest physical things from the other side. They have a certain body type to be able to resonate with both worlds physically. They're usually very large-boned people. And I know, Ed, you're handling a lot of energy. And do you feel that your stature, your bone density, your height, your whatever it is, does help to contain it properly? Because you're moving a lot of energy all the time.
Yeah, well, I generate a containment field. See, the thing with the studies on me and now me and Lihi that separates us from the, regular people that are just operating like they are, when we're doing this energy, our brains are simultaneously PKing from alpha to theta. So they're picking up every level of consciousness in our brains all at the same time when we have the energy turned on. That's what it clearly shows in the advanced EEG brain mapping studies we're under now and stuff. That's why another reason to buying these 30-channel EEG systems and all. And so
you see this more as a mind thing, and I know, Lihi, you mentioned it's also heart. So it's more mind than it is physicality for you being able to carry this energy forward.
Yeah, I've got a generator. We all got a generator. I'm running mine. Yours is asleep.
I gotta wake the damn thing up.
I'd have known.
Now, I believe that there's also this another component, and it's a component of you can call it the heart. You can call it's something that makes us that makes us human. There's a component of that. That's where I think Ed and I we kind of differ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the scientist. You got to measure it. You got an instrument. You can measure it. You can study it.
Yeah, but in the meantime, he met me, and he has these emotions that he's never experienced before. Was that measured? No, So,
yeah. We see the responses I'm getting back from them there. So
no, I'm just saying to you,
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's true because emotions are like rocket fuel. They can be extremely dangerous if they are suppressed, and so bringing them up and out is really the way to go. And so, Lihi, you adding that component, which is a major component to all of this work, it makes it even more of a healing that people can give themselves. Again, I'm not going to call you guys healers, even though I'm tempted to.
Right, and it's like I'm the integrator. It's like I integrate, and I know what is because we live in a humanity right now that's third-dimensional reality where there's like right, wrong, should not. The universe doesn't see things that way at all. But we've gotten so contained in that way of being that we're living a collapsed reality. You know what I mean? And now these higher energies are coming into play, and there's a lot of resistance. and it's showing up all over the planet. You know what I mean? In so many different ways. So
yes.
to me, I see myself and I envision and I kind of know. You know, I have to feel propelled. That's why I'm so blessed to have met Ed, because I can be in that space, in that platform. You know what I mean? I feel like our connection can bring a large change, you know, with a change in humanity. It wouldn't happen in that degree if we were individually doing our thing.
Not at all. Not at all. So.
Yeah, I mean, the combination is what makes it so intense and powerful. And as you mentioned, again, I'm just saying to everybody, disclaimer, we're not saying this takes the place of your medical treatment or medical doctors or whatever. You always know to consult with your medical professionals. And this is an energy, a powerful energy. You may or may not feel affected by it, but this is something worth exploring.
If the opportunity does work with people we work with, we like working with their doctors so that they can monitor them properly.
That's right. And there are a lot of doctors out there that are interested in this.
Yeah, like the combination could be very, very effective.
I find them every now and then. What I do is I work on their patient, their client, and I blow them away. Their doctors then call me up, chewing at the bit, how in the hell I did what I did to them, you know. And I said, well, you monitor them, and I'll work on them.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I think people are becoming more and more open to this. So, you know, I could see that people are, you know, doctors and the professionals.
I mean, I'm working on doctors that have neuropathy, and when you make the neuropathy clear up in a doctor's foot and him a full-blown MD, it gets their attention.
Oh, I bet it does.
It does. And what many people may not realize in the audience is that neuropathy is very difficult to treat successfully.
Oh,
yeah.
And very painful.
Yes.
And I mentioned it on Ancient Aliens and Coast to Coast, and I'm covered up with that kind of work and having phenomenal effects with people.
And also Parkinson's.
Yeah, Parkinson's and MS. Man, I'm working on a lady with
neurological, you know. Neurological.
It's all seems like everything neurological. Autism.
Because it's electrical.
Yeah, fantastic effect with children with autism.
What about with Alzheimer's, Ed?
Yeah,
some. Did you work with Alzheimer's?
We've and having some, you know, helping to clear some of the brain fog. We can clear brain fog, some of that real-time stuff.
Yeah, and also bring some kind of lucidity to them that they've never had before.
But remember, it's not us doing anything. We're just causing your bodies, their systems, to start working properly the way we're designed to work. And that's all we're doing. And all the problems fade away then. Fast.
That's phenomenal.
How are you feeling, PK?
I feel very relaxed, and actually I feel very comfortable. I was wondering about my back sitting as long as I have. My back has not bothered me at all.
Oh, there you go.
Good.
There you go. Well, everybody that's listening, if you've had an experience you'd like to report, feel free to reach out to us. Let us know. You can let us know on our Facebook page or private message us, either PK or myself. We'd love to be able to pass that on to Ed and Lihi. I mean, you've all had an experience tonight of just about an hour of this energy from both Ed and Lihi tonight, because I know they didn't turn it off like they usually do after 2 minutes. It's been going almost the whole show.
This is going.
Yeah,
we got it resonated up high here in this apartment.
In fact, I feel like you guys are here with me. You know, it's that kind of thing.
We feel the same.
I mean, you are, but you know what I mean. Like, hey, can you get me a cup of tea, Patricia?
Yeah, it's what we're doing here. We're having tea together with energy. Well, my goodness, both of you, this has been so wonderful. We feel so honored you were able to make time to come and work with us and our audience tonight. And again, please give out the website so people can find you.
It's Lihi, Lihi -AND -EDD.com.
Okay, so that's how you can sign up for the groups, training, anything, private sessions. It's all there.
Yeah, just join to the newsletter, the main one on that page, and stuff. And you can go to Google and just type in Lihi and Ed, EDD. Make sure you put 2 D's in my name, and that'll take you to our website.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, guys, we've run out of time. But again, many thanks. Much love to you both. And
definitely.
Again, we'll be back in touch. So until next week, everybody, where we're going to have another great show about UFOs. We'll see you on the Blue Highway. Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Much love. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening. Tune in next week for another radio adventure with Supernatural Girls.